I'm United States Senator Saxby Chambliss, and thanks for tuning in to our, hopefully from now on, weekly event on YouTube. Here in the United States Senate this week, it's been sort of a slow week, but we did conclude today the financial regulatory reform package that, in my opinion, is a very bad piece of legislation. Certainly we needed to take action to make sure that the greed that existed on Wall Street that caused the financial collapse and the huge mistakes that were made by the regulatory agencies needed to be corrected. But the fact is that the bill that passed the Senate today is going to go to the desk of the President is very much an overreaching piece of legislation that is not going to deal with the issues that really caused the financial collapse, and is frankly going to have more of an impact on each and every one of you and your local bank than it's going to have on Wall Street. I'm very disappointed at the end result and this package that ultimately came out of the Senate. We did not deal in any way with Freddie Mac or Fannie Mae. Those two entities in and of themselves have required $145 billion of taxpayer money to this point in time. And the Secretary of the Treasury said that they have a blank check. The United States taxpayer could be on the hook for as much as $6 trillion for those two entities alone. And they were a major player in the financial collapse, and we have not dealt with them at all in this package. So I'm very disappointed at the end result, particularly the derivatives section that I played a major role in, because our derivatives are a unique and very complex instrument that every manufacturer in the country, farmers and ranchers, as well as individuals, use from time to time to hedge themselves against inflation, against interest rates that fluctuate, as well as against prices for commodities that may fluctuate. The derivatives title is going to cause the price of consumer products to go up because the cost of doing business in the derivatives section is going to be increased. In any event, this bill is going to the desk of the President, and it will now become law. We've got a number of other matters that are on our plate between now and the time we recess in August. The nomination of U.S. Supreme Court Justice Elena Kagan will be coming up in the Judiciary Committee next week and will be on the floor of the Senate probably in 2 to 3 weeks down the road. The Majority Leader, Harry Reid, has said he wants to do an energy bill before we leave. Frankly, I see no way if we started tomorrow that we could complete an energy bill before we recess in August. That is such a complex issue, and I want to make sure that we protect taxpayers from a cap and tax provision that the Democrats want to see enacted. Otherwise, here in the Senate, we have done a couple of things today that are particularly unique to Georgia. Senator Isaacson and I introduced a bill on the floor of the Senate this afternoon to honor First Lieutenant Robert Collins of Tyrone, Georgia, there in Fayette County, who made the ultimate sacrifice in Mosul, Iraq on the 7th day of April 2010. Lieutenant Collins is a particularly unique individual to me because I appointed him to West Point. He was just a very special young man, an outstanding athlete, an outstanding student, very good natural leader, and loved his family. He happens to be the son of 2 retired Army colonels, and they never envisioned that Robert would follow in their footsteps, but he made a decision to enter the United States Army, and what a great job he did in leading his platoon and serving the people of our country and making this country a better place in which to live. We're naming the post office in Tyrone, Georgia, after First Lieutenant Robert Collins, and I'm very proud that we're going to have a memory of him that will exist in the minds and the hearts of the people of that community forever and ever. Also, within the last several days, you've probably seen the result of significant and cooperative effort between the Central Intelligence Agency and the Federal Bureau of Investigation, which led to the arrest and ultimate exchange of some 11 individuals who were spies for Russia. These individuals had lived in the United States in some instances for as long as 10 years. They had ingratiated themselves into communities in the northeastern section of our country all the way down to Virginia. This is the kind of action that took place during the Cold War period when the KGB sought to put spies around the United States in significant places where they might seek to gain information. So it's a throwback to the old way of doing business and an indication that we have to be very, very careful in the way we trust the Russians and the way we do business with the Russians. The cooperative effort between the CIA and the FBI was very remarkable, and I'm very proud of both those agencies and the work that they did in monitoring these individuals over the last several years and ultimately arresting them and swapping them for 4 major spies who were imprisoned in Russia, 2 Brits, 2 Americans, and we by far came out on the better end of this deal because these individuals who were in the United States spying for Russia frankly gained no information that's of any value and does not involve any compromising of the national security of the United States. Let me just say that in closing that on Tuesday we have a primary in Georgia. It is critically important that all of you who are eligible to vote go to the polls and vote on Tuesday. Summer primaries are always difficult from a turnout standpoint, but this is a very important election. We have the opportunity to elect a new governor in Georgia this year, as well as all of our statewide constitutional officers, as well as any number of candidates who will be on the November general election ballot for congressional seats. So please take the time to go out and vote in the federal, the state, as well as your local school board and county commissioner and city council elections on Tuesday. It's very important that you do. Thanks for tuning in. We'll look forward to visiting with you next week.